Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the NFL Draft Triple Take, brought to you by UPMC. He's Matt Williamson. He's Dale Lolley. I'm Mike Prisuta. We are your draft preparation crew, coming at you once again on all of the Steelers' social media platforms as we do our best to get you ready for the NFL Draft, April the 27th through the 29th in Kansas City. We went through all the positions. We have gone through almost all the positions a second time. And guys, in terms of our further review position by position, it's not safety first, it's safety last.
Safety last, and this one, this position, I think I've changed guys around more than any position that we've done thus far. And I haven't changed the top. I still think Brian Branch is number one at this group, and I think there's a little bit of a gap there. But my new number two here is Quan Martin, also known as Jartavius Martin. Love his game, love what he does. He's much like Brian Branch, can play the slot, can play deep, can play in the box, a lot of different things that you can do with him. So I bumped him up to number two, and he was more athletic than I thought he was going to be.
Great combine, right?
Great combine.
Phenomenal.
Great combine.
That made me go back and take another look.
Really good football player. I don't know how anybody threw the ball against Illinois last year.
Seriously, him, the guy you're going to get to in a minute,
and Devin Witherspoon.
And Devin Witherspoon.
The other guy must have, I don't know, but I just don't know how people threw the ball on them. So I got Antonio Johnson of Texas A&M third. He's a bigger safety, but he's also played the slot. I mean, that's the one common denominator that you find with a lot of these guys. A lot of them have played the slot. Jair Brown from Penn State just takes the football away. 17 turnovers he was involved with at Penn State. He ran better at his pro day than he did at the combine, which he needed to do. It was a 4.65 at the combine. I think he was at 4.58 at Penn State's pro day. And then I got Sidney Brown here at number 5. Again, that Illinois duo at the safety position, they were kind of interchangeable a little bit, but he was more the strong. Jartavius Martin was more the free. They can both do both, though.
Yeah, I'm a little bit the same way. I'm a little higher on Sidney Brown than you, but I didn't have Jartavius Martin in my first top 5. He's there now. I've got Johnson at number 5, and then Brown from Penn State, number 4. Then let's slot Jartavius in at number 3. Sidney Brown, who is the brother of the running back Brown,
right,
for Illinois. And then Brian Branch, who we have talked a lot, Matt, about this guy throughout this process. Is he a corner? Is he a slot corner in the NFL? Is he a box safety? Is he a linebacker hybrid? Is he a center fielder? The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. He's a phenomenal football player. He didn't test great. He's not the biggest guy. I don't care at all. I mean, you watch him on tape. He's totally in control of the defense, much like Minka was when he was at Bama.
You know, not a lot of guys. If I was him and somebody said you can give one tape to the NFL, and that's your resume.
That's your resume.
That's your job interview. I'd give him that Sugar Bowl tape against Kansas State and be fine with it.
He never misses a tackle. He never misses an assignment. He gets everyone lined up. He can do everything you want. So I think all 3 of us have the same 5 names, slightly different order. I also have Martin too, and I was a little late to the party on him. But after his combine, I started watching him, and like Branch, he can play deep middle. He can play the slot. Super athletic.
He should have had a brother who was a running back on the team. He'd have got more buzz during the season.
He got more buzz, right. I think everyone was talking about Sidney more. I like Antonio Johnson, but he's more of a throwback, strong safety guy. He'll bump out and cover tight ends as well, but he'll hit you. He's got good size. I have Jair Brown at 5 and Sidney at 4. Again, what a safety duo these two are. Super aggressive. He'll miss a tackle here and there, but he's a thumper. And Jair is a playmaker. I mean, as Dale mentioned, he really improved his stock with his pro day compared to the combine. Testing was a lot better, but he's always around the ball, takes the ball away. So these 5 I've moved more than any position we've done, but I'm pretty set on Martin at 2 now.
Let's keep it with you and talk about a name or 3 that almost made the list but didn't.
I think Christopher Smith is interesting too. He can get lost on that amazing Georgia defense. He's a little bit smaller, but kind of like Branch, they often talk about him as the quarterback of the defense, getting everybody aligned, the mental side of things which is super important for these safeties. I think people make a lot of mistakes with safeties because they trust the combine numbers, and at this position, it's more read and react and understanding what the offense is trying to do. It's much more of a mental position than people realize, and he's very strong in that way.
Yeah, and I think, when you look at this board, Illinois wasn't the only team that had two really good safeties. Alabama did as well, and you can see both of those guys, Branch and
Jordan Battle.
Battle, go really high in this one. Battle may not be, he just missed making my top 5. He's probably in that 6 or 7 range, but a really good football player.
I saw him, I keep going back to that Sugar Bowl because I was so fascinated with it, because it wasn't a playoff game, and it seemed like all the Kansas State guys and all the Bama guys played anyway, to play. And Battle covered a wheel route out of the backfield where he had to diagnose it and then turn and run with the guy and then turn at the last minute and find the ball, and he did everything textbook.
Yeah, really good football player. And again, those guys that have played in that Bama secondary for a long time, not just a 1-year starter, but 3- and 4-year starters like Branch and Battle, the expectation is those guys are going to be good and pro-ready when they get here. And another guy I wanted to touch on was J.L. Skinner out of Boise State.
I was going to ask you guys
Stands
about
out,
just a monster. I walked up again. I was at the Senior Bowl. I'm like, I want to see how big this guy is. I did that with DeJuan Jones, and I did that with him. And I walked over to him, and I'm like, that's a big safety.
Height, length.
Yeah, 6'4", looks like a shooting guard.
He'd probably be on all of our 5s. He would have been on mine, I think, if he hadn't suffered a pec injury training for the combine.
Yeah,
hasn't worked out for anybody. What's the trickle down or fallout from that?
It just makes it tough. I mean, it doesn't hurt it doesn't help his stock. I would think it probably costs him a round or 2, and that's a big thing with the medical recheck and bringing him in for visits and how far along are you.
So is he going to be a guy maybe similar to Voorhees, the lineman from USC who hurt his knee at the combine?
Right.
Red shirt potential, but
it's hard to comment on medical, but
you'll
very
get
well
him at a
could
bargain
be.
price if you have a little faith.
Right. Interesting guy, though.
Another guy I wanted to ask you both about, Brandon Hill of Pitt is the fastest safety.
He was the fastest
40.
guy at the combine, and I didn't expect him to test that well. The Pitt guys actually did really test well this year across the board, and he's an interesting guy that if you think you can bring him in and get that speed. You can't coach that. You can coach everything else, but you can't coach that speed. You can't coach the size, and he's got the speed.
One other guy I wanted to mention, Jason Taylor II out of Oklahoma State, had a lot of interceptions, 6 of them, which was the lead for the Big 12 and tied for 3rd in FBS. And he also won the All-Star games, the NFLPA Bowl. He chased the guy down from behind and came in with the hammer tackle. He knows how to separate the ball too, which to me, more and more of a developing skill among defenders. I think forced fumbles used to be, hit them real hard.
Right.
And
can't do that anymore.
Everybody's trying to get it out however they can now, and guys that can have an affinity for that, I think, are going to be valued.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 different schools of thought with defensive backs. You either cover really well so you don't let them get the catch, or you get the ball out after they make a catch or take it away as they're trying to make the catch. And you look at these safeties, a lot of these guys put up some pretty good interception numbers over their careers.
And 2 more notes just on the position as a whole, and this kind of goes without saying, but if you're a mid or a late round safety, your special teams acumen is incredibly valuable right off the bat. How well do you adjust to the special teams aspect? But we mentioned it and touched on it with some of these guys, but a lot of the safeties now are slot defenders. You're not seeing many 5'8" corners out there. You got to deal with Kelsey and big slot type receivers. So a lot of these safeties have a lot of slot experience, and that's going to be asked of them at the next level.
Some of them even some linebacker stuff.
Yeah, right. They do a lot nowadays.
Okay, that's going to do it for our further review of the safety position. I want to thank everybody for finding us, however and wherever you found us. Don't forget, as always, there is more to come on all of your Steelers social media platforms, so keep checking in with us right up to and through the NFL Draft, April the 27th through the 29th in Kansas City. Until next time, for Dale Lolley and Matt Williamson, I'm Mike Prisuta. This has been the NFL Draft Triple Take, brought to you by UPMC.